okay, so you're looking for inspiration for your screenplay, and who knows where it's going to come from. You might be watching a movie and you go, all right, this is a horror movie and they're doing it this way, and I think I have a better way to do it that's going to be much more scary. Or, you know, something's happening in your life that you're like, this is really funny, like this conversation should go into a comedy screenplay. Something like that gives you inspiration. It could be from anywhere, all right? But do you just jump in and then start writing, just immediately sit down at your desk and just start typing stuff in? I would say the first step is to then kind of maybe write a paragraph about what your idea is for whatever the type of movie it is, and then try to identify what would be the beginning, middle, and end. That's extremely important. To know where it starts, where it's going to go, the direction it's going to go, and how it's going to end up is extremely important before you start writing, okay? So that could be your inspiration. Your inspiration can come from anything, but then you put it down and you kind of look at it and you go, okay, I see how it could go. It could go like this, lead to this, and then end up here. And that is when you could take that and then start to work on your screenplay. Now, there's a couple tips, and I've given certain tips like this before as far as pushing all the way through. If you have a question about what I mean by that, there's a special video link that I'll put in the description below that talks about your true first draft of your screenplay and how to get through it. So I truly advise everybody to push through and get to the end of the screenplay. But the one caveat that I'll tell you to watch out for is getting another inspiration in the midst of writing that screenplay. And I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. I remember, you know, this happened years ago and going, oh, I could do this. And what happens is then you start thinking about your idea and maybe that energy that you had behind it initially, that inspiration is gone. So you're like, you know, it's not really the best idea. It's like, you know, and then so you abandon it. And then because you thought of this other inspiration, you're like, oh, that's the one I should be writing. And you kind of go with that as long as that energy takes you. And then another inspiration comes up. The key is you have to finish it. It doesn't matter if some of the energy has dissipated and maybe you're not as excited about that initial inspiration for the screenplay. But worst case scenario, it'll get you through getting to a first draft, ultimately pushing through and getting to the end of the screenplay, but it'll kind of discipline your mind to know that you have to stay focused on one idea at a time. And that's my advice to you, is that you get the inspiration, make sure on paper it's feasible. Like I said, that's kind of that little feasibility study. Can I get a beginning, middle, and end? And that doesn't mean, by the way, if you don't immediately get to the beginning, middle, and end, you're like, oh, I'm abandoning this. You can come back and take a look at it. You know, you might be walking around one day and then you go, I just came up with a great ending for this screenplay. And then you go back and you go, okay, now I can see it. Now let's go forward. But the key is stay on task. SOT. Stay on task when you're writing anything, any screenplay or teleplay or whatever you're trying to put together. Get to the end first. Don't let any other inspiration come in. So you have that initial inspiration, then you got to shield yourself until that project's done, and then you can look for more inspiration in the future.